Welcome to my next episode of Human Trafficking. Today we have Pallabi Ghosh from India. Pallavi has been doing some wonderful work with actually sex trafficking and rescuing girls who has fallen victim to this very heinous trade. So Pallavi, let's talk about the work you do and under what NGO or which organization you work with.
Hi, my name is Pallavi. I work with multiple organizations, but
Okay.
at present I have my own NGO, which is known as Impact and Dialogue Foundation. So we do end-to-end work, you can say. So starting from rescue to victim or the survivor in front of the court, to the rehabilitation, to the repatriation. So we do an entire thing. Apart from that, we are looking into two aspects. One is prevention, because I have rescued thousands of women and children. One thing we realize is that it is very difficult to rescue people. It is very difficult to do something post the event has happened. So one important aspect of our work is prevention. We do a lot of awareness, advocacy training with not just colleges, schools, and it's government institutions. We talk to people in the grassroots. Like for example, I try to reach at least to 5 people every day. I interact with 5 new people every day. It can be rickshaw pullers, it can be shopkeepers, it can be a maid servant, it can be a helper, it can be a gardener, anybody. Especially people those who are in the rural place, especially people those who are very poor. And then there is another thing that we focus is employment and empowerment, because I think the root cause of all problems is poverty. So unless and until we get rid of poverty, which is not possible to get rid in one day, it is a slow and gradual process. So until and unless that happens, it's very, very difficult to get rid of this entire menace called human trafficking.
Sure. Pallavi has been extremely kind. She is actually working in Meghalaya at the moment. She is in the hills. So, Pallavi, let's talk about prevention, because I think rescuing is one of the biggest work which people from around the world can do. But let's talk about prevention and what do you do in prevention? I understand that you target the rural areas. So, where do you go and educate?
See, when you talk about prevention, the word prevention is very big, very huge. So what we do is that we do different things. Like we do consultations, we do trainings. I have another training program in Dibrugarh, that is in Upper Assam, tea gardens, with different social welfare officers. But what I believe is that one important aspect is talk to families, because poor people are more prone to trafficking because they are lured. Why are people lured? For job, for marriage, for love, for education, for a better future. So what we do, we reach communities. One thing that I do is that I interact with people in the communities. We have village vigilant committees, VVCs, where we track the number of people who go out of the villages in the last 1 month. And then we try to contact the number, like where the child or the particular survivor is gone. After that, we keep following every week. If we don't get information in at least 15 days, we reach the police. So we have made committees, that's village vigilant committees. Then there is something known as anti-trafficking clubs, anti-human trafficking clubs, AHTUs, where what we do, we make clubs in colleges. We tell the people in the colleges to go to their adjacent villages, interact with the villagers, talk to the villagers, and that's an anti-trafficking clubs that we do. Then is we put the community into the work.
Yeah.
Like the panchayat people. Because it's not possible for a non-governmental organization, non-profit, whatever. It's not for CBOs, CSOs to go and work individually. We empower the community in a way that they are able to do it themselves. Like we run buses, small, vehicles where images are given, because graphical and pictorial description plays a big role in the prevention. So more than giving random lectures, I give them case studies. I make small short street plays. So there are different ways of prevention that we do.
Right. I think it is a fantastic work. So, Pallavi, do you want to describe what exactly you did with some of the girls? How did you rescue them? Any incidents which you want to share it with the viewers?
I remember there are multiple thousands of incidents. I don't know how many stories I can tell, but one particular incident was where a national newspaper's chief correspondent had called me and told me about a girl being kept confined in a house in Vasant Kunj in Delhi. I went to that house with the Vasant Vihar police. I won't go much details to the case. And then we locked the door. We found a 90-year-old woman with two dogs. We wanted to enter inside the house. We asked the lady if there is any helper in the house. She said no. But then when I went on the backside of the house, I saw a bald, naked girl roaming on the house, behind the balcony of the house, and she had all blood marks in the body. One thing that because I'm a human rights activist, it's not possible for me to just break into the house. So I waited for the daughter to come. And when the daughter came, she came with lawyer. So that itself intrigued me. Like, if somebody has not committed a crime, why will the person get a lawyer? We entered inside the house. I saw the girl was 16. I see her cross-legged sitting, terribly injured. Her ears, her face, her mouth, every part of her house, hand, body was battered. The only example that I would tell, because if I give you examples, you'll not be able to eat. That's a very big case in the Patiala House Court in Delhi. Lady is scot-free. The lady has been set free by the court. This particular girl, when I took her, she had multiple injuries in her body. Doctor told me if I had bought her 2 hours late, she would have died due to the poison that had spread in the body. When I went to the surgical department, I took her to all the departments, ENT, skin department, you can say ophthalmology, every department, she had some problem in the body. We went to the surgical department and I showed it to the doctor, and the doctor was like, Pallavi, can you give me helping hand? There is no doctors there. All the doctors are in emergency. So, the wound was here in the head. It was a 5-inch deep wound. I took out this much maggots from both hands 4 times. Can you imagine? And the maggots were like crawling. Horrible. That was one of the horrible incidents. Multiple incidents like this. So I can say that then we rescued the victim. We put the victim in Jharkhand house. We put the girl in shelter home. Indian judiciary, dates and dates they gave. The girl went home. She's a Santali girl from Jharkhand. The entire story was twisted and presented. So it's a mess. Finally, the lady who tortured her, the lady used to make her drink urine. The lady used to beat her with dog chains. There were wounds all over her body. She was treated 10 times worse than animals. Not even animals can be treated like this. So then finally, the lady is free now. So you can imagine why I want to work on prevention more than rescue, because at the end of the day, the case gets diluted. Nobody gets justice.
So let us talk about justice just a little in very brief, that, we have all laws in place, but what is missing?
The missing thing is the people are not fast. The courts are not fast. The courts have thousands of cases. There is no manpower. And on top of that, people don't understand the severity of cases. For example, if I'm trafficked, if I'm sold off and I'm rescued, I go back to my home. If you summon the court paper, goes to my village, police and courts coming to villages, even in towns and cities, people think that they have committed some kind of a crime. This summon going to the village of the girl, where the girl has perhaps started a new leaf. Imagine, why will the girl come? And even if the girl comes, the court calls her 10 to 20 times. Definitely the victim will turn hostile. Why won't she? Because she already got through the trauma and pain. Now she wants to lead a happy life. You are traumatizing her again and again. On top of that, doctors are not sensitive. Courts are not sensitive. Police is not sensitive. Again and again, re-victimizing the victim, again and again, witness. What is the point of witness when there is no justice? And justice means what? 7 girls have been trafficked by the same person, but the traffickers get, you can say, imprisonment for 7 years, 10 years. Yes. So can you just imagine? So there's a lot of loopholes in our system. There is no coordination between the stakeholders. People all work in isolation. Nobody is connected to each other. The whole concept, there is so much of misogyny, there is so much of patriarchy, there is so much of the subjugation of women. For example, I'll tell you simple cases, like for example, if a girl is raped, people say that she was raped. Nobody says that he raped her. You need to change the narrative. Patriarchy is so much prevalent in our place. Like for example, just few days back, 2-3 days back, that judgment had come for marital rape. Like, just imagine, who gives you license to rape your wife just because you married her? So the entire system needs to go through this. They need to completely, I can say improvise, not even improvise, but change the system. The main thing is mindset. The problem comes with families. So I think that's one very important. And people think that once a traffic survivor is rescued, she has to get married. You are making that girl again dependent on somebody. First she was dependent on her father, brother, now again husband, then children, then grandson. So that whole thing of me, my life, my dignity, is always diluted. So I think justice in India is just a joke, and I would say that the thing in the court, no, that statue in the court with the eyes with the black cloth, that is an apt example of Indian justice system.
Right. So, Pallavi, I understand that we need to change the narrative, and I think that is need of the day. So, thank you. I think you're doing some wonderful work. I have done series of video, but I know that I will never be able to do justice and raise voices of everyone around the world. But anyways, Pallavi, thank you so much for joining me here today.